told us this.
Good moderators are not supposed to be, and that's one of my top rules of moderation. I'll talk later. I'm not supposed to talk. Before we switch gears, very simple, very straightforward question, like 30-second answer for this. How do we fix email? Who wants to start this one?
Once in a while, you stop reading them.
All right, that's a solution.
That was 30 seconds.
This is an easy question. This is like the kids' version of Jeopardy.
Yeah. I think it also needs to come from people maybe being more educated about email and how to use it effectively. People writing shorter messages, people getting to the point much quicker. I think that would help go ways towards fixing email too. Curating your own output in what you're sending.
This is interesting because I run an email company and I get a ridiculous amount of emails. I guess just be more like self-aware, like be self-aware of what you sign up for. Like make sure you're only getting good stuff. Like unsubscribe from stuff if you don't like it. Like mark stuff as spam. Use filters. Filters help the hell out of me. Like you can, like some stuff probably makes more sense for like Facebook. Some stuff makes more sense for Twitter. I guess just like be a little bit more self-aware. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Email isn't broken.
It is not?
It is not. It's the people who use it, who don't know how to use it.
That doesn't, but that makes,
the problem.
so you're saying that email itself isn't broken, but how people use it is broken?
Yeah.
But that may indicate that the platform is broken because its design isn't being used for its intended purpose, which may be a user interface problem.
Nope.
That's the end of the argument.
Thank you.
So we're going to do this for about another 5-10 minutes, and then we're going to open up audience questions. So start thinking of your amazing, amazing questions. Your questions were not quite yet, where of course you're going to win in all your arguments. So a little bit on the future, and then I have like 1 or 2 secret questions. But starting with, what do you think is going to what do you think is going to be the next major trend in curation in the next 2 or 3 years? What do you think it's going to look like? And then use your Jedi mind powers. What's it going to look like in, say, 15 to 20 years? Jedi mind powers. I keep on looking at you. They're like, actually, we're gonna start right here. Actually.
Well, so my vision, and that's the bet we're making, is that we're going to be shifting from this people-centric world we're in, which was very exciting because it started, by connecting to people you knew, connecting to, your schools, friends, and everything, to a topic-centric vision. That's the bet we're making, but I think it makes a lot of sense because now that we've started following people and we know that we can follow not only friends, not only people we know, but strangers and people we find interesting, it makes sense to follow topics, and that's, I think, where we're heading. And if we have like, 5 years from now, something where the world has become topic-centric again, not saying that people-centric will disappear, then I think we have suddenly a world where we're starting to have people know about what to follow, what not to follow, apply the right filters, saying, hey, those are the topics I'm interested in, these are the information I want to receive, and it's okay if I receive a lot, because that's my passion, that's where I want to, build my expertise, and I can filter out the rest. So I think that's where we're heading 5 years from now, 15, 20 years from now. I think Mashable will have both, Twitter and Google, and they're going to be doing curation, right? Jedi power.
Jedi power? Yeah, no, not going to talk too much about Mashable. I think curation is going to be a bigger part of how media is done. And it's going to be, you're going to find more coming from an audience rather than from specific journalists.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing to pick up on. Definitely more collaboration on this. I guess that's where, this line between aggregation and curation maybe blends a little bit, but trying to get the wisdom of the crowd and more people involved, and curating the curation, where you have multiple curations and then you can aggregate that to get to, again, an even more refined vision of what is important, because everybody has a different viewpoint they might bring to things, but if we can then narrow that down, I think you'll really get to the essence and be able to cut through all the noise. I think, yeah, also blending more the machine part with the human part. Right now, it does need to be very manual. I think we'll see more and more technology helping this, but I do think it's always important that the human is the last mile in picking what is important with an audience in mind.
Yeah, I actually like a lot of what you said, Ben. We kind of believe a lot of the same things. Like, media companies will start to become more of their readers and their subscribers centric instead of journalists exclusively. And hopefully one day soon we can see some media companies that are profitable and not dying.
I think we don't like that. Although I would say Mashman's doing pretty well right now. Don't tell anybody. Related question. Mobile curation. What's the future of that? I heard, so yeah, they didn't get prepared for this question either. We're going to start, you want to start this?
Mobile curation.
Mobile curation. How is mobile going to, more expanding, how is mobile going to play into curation? Does it have any, is it going to be really any different from the desktop? Does it provide any advantages?
Well, so what we've been hearing from the people who've been using Scoopit is, you know, as you said, it takes time, and part of the moments I have time is when I'm with my mobile phone because I'm idle, because I'm on the move or whatever. And so if I could do, you know, part of my curation on my mobile phone, then it will help. That's, I guess, a first answer. Then, you know, it's funny because my background is mobile, and I've been doing a lot of things on mobile historically, and I think the unique points of mobile are starting to be really location, maybe photos, and a few other stuff. But you know, when it comes to web apps or, you know, web services, I think mobile is looking a lot more like the web. Period.
Yeah, I think, well, when we think about mobile, we're thinking about this device right here that Ben is using right now, and then I see an iPad here, an iPad over there. I mean, this is the future paradigm of computing, is touch-based, and curation is something that is suited to that, where you're remixing things that are out there. So I think that's definitely something we are thinking a lot about, and yeah, stay tuned for more on us about that.
Ooh. You sure you don't want to break any news right now, you know, for our lovely audience here? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, our audience is mostly tech-centric, so like it's very much the early adopter crowd. I think a pretty large portion of our readers already read the digest on their mobile device. It's kind of cool, like email fits very well with mobile. I mean, it's like right there, usually on people's like main home screen. So for us, like we're already very much in mobile.
Just 2 or 3 more questions. We're going to start with Bert, since Bert never starts at all, ever. So excluding anything on up here right now, what is a tool that you think everyone should be using for better curation or better information management? Can't be anything up here.
Right. I've really enjoyed lately some of these email services that it's more aggregation about the links that people are sharing on Twitter that you follow. So things like Sumify, or there's another startup which is in super secret alpha called Percolate, where it is kind of trying to
harness. Yeah, we just wrote about them recently too.
You did? Okay, yeah. So, I mean, this kind of idea of, again, I'm not sitting there watching my Twitter stream all day, but I would love to, you know what are the most popular links from the people who I follow, what are the things I should read. I found those really useful lately.
It's going to sound like a really old school answer, but literally, if you don't use them, Gmail filters, come on people. for email overload, really. If you guys don't use them, like I put so many things in tabs, like auto delete and stuff, it'll help you save so much time. And it's so simple, and it's old school, please use them.
So Bert stole my example because I was going to say Sumify, so that's why you shouldn't start. No, Sumify is pretty cool. To me, it's filtering. I think we've discussed a lot about about curation. I think, as Bert said, I think there's a lot of things to be said around, combining filtering and curation. And Sumify is actually a great example of that. I use a lot of the links that I find from Sumify that I curate them back on the topics that I curate. So it's good help.
All right. Before we go to the audience, just curious about this audience. How many of you are in the curation space? You gotta raise your hand if you are. Come on. How many of you consider yourselves entrepreneurs? Oh wow, that's a really good group. And how many of you are not in tech at all? Does everyone? No. All right. Oh, 1, 2. So you've got some. What do you do?
I work for Sysmex San Francisco. We're Switzerland Science and Technology Office.
Cool.
So,
Both of you, or?
over here.
Oh, cool. See. So since we have so many entrepreneurs in the room, you only get 1 sentence to answer this question. Impart from all your great wisdom 1 piece of advice to the entrepreneurs in the room. And this is one of the secret questions, by the way. And we'll just, Chris.
Yeah.
You're the startup guy. You can take 5, 10 seconds to think about it. We can
Do you have like a specific topic or just general?
anything. You can pick anything.
How many people that raise their hand that are entrepreneurs, how many are like just starting off? Like literally just beginning, just launching something very early. Everybody else is like launch something? How many people are like raising funding?
No, I'm very
A little bit more. Hiring?
Who's hiring? Come on, you're not
I'll
hiring.
do. Since there's more funding, I guess I'll go with funding. I don't know, like 6 people with funding. With like fundraising stuff, make sure, so the most important thing with fundraising is the lead investor. Get some early people in the beginning and then worry about the lead investor. Not the person necessarily going to set the terms, but the person will give you $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 check. After that, your life will become much easier. Lead investor is the hardest thing. Fundraising sucks. We just raised like $500,000 recently. Blows. It's really hard. It's terrible. But get that, and all your problems will be a lot easier. It's very specific. Sorry.
Hey, don't be sorry. We like specific examples here.
I would say listen, always listen. Listen to your users, listen to the people in your company, listen to fundraisers. I mean, listen to people asking you for help and be offered to help them. I mean, just being really open and self-aware, I think is key to this. Be genuine and honest.
To me, my experience, I have a lot of entrepreneurs that come and say, hey, I have this great idea and I just need a technical guy to execute it. And to me, it's totally wrong, and I don't tell them like that, but I say, if you don't have the co-founder, then the idea is worthless. And so it's really about making sure, I mean, it's okay not to have a co-founder, but you have to make sure that you have all of the components to be able to execute, because execution is much better than, is much more valuable than the idea. So if you have just an idea, you just need that technical guy to deliver it, then you're probably better off looking for a co-founder. And even if he has a different idea, then maybe that idea is better if the co-founder is the right one.
Those are all great pieces of advice. Thank you for those. So at this point, we're going to open it up to audience questions. Just raise your hand and be loud so we can all hear. Who would like to be our first volunteer right here? And say your name, by the way.